So our second conversation centers around the breathtaking collaboration between composer Nainita Desai and director Laura McGann. It's called The Deepest Breath. So Nainita is truly a wonder, and her background is very rich. She started as a sound designer working for icons like Werner Herzog and Bertolucci. She's even done some engineering for Peter Gabriel. She has since established herself as an acclaimed in-demand composer. I will only brag on her a little bit. Her score to the Netflix documentary 14 Peaks, Nothing is Impossible, earned an Emmy nomination. She's also been honored with nominations from BIFA, Ivor Novello, Cinema Eye Honors, and even her composer compatriots here at ASCAP for our Composer Choice Awards that we do every year. Laura is an Irish director who has worked on documentary projects for PBS, the BBC, Lonely Planet, UTV, and more. She's perhaps best known for her Revolutions, which is a documentary about women's roller derby. But this latest documentary, The Deepest Breath, has been touted as one of the must-see films here at the festival. Give it up for Nainita Desai and Laura McGann. Okay, same drill. We're only day 2 of the festival, and these people have not seen a lot of films yet. So, Laura, could you introduce us to this documentary? Could you kind of lay out what we're looking for here?
Yeah, sure. So, The Deepest Breath is a feature documentary that's about freediving. It follows two freedivers. One is a world champion, and another is an expert safety diver. And it follows their path to the pinnacle of the freediving world, and when they come together and they take on one of the greatest freediving challenges, on Earth. So that's the story that we've told in our film.
And were you familiar with the freediving community prior to doing this project, or was this all new to you?
So this was completely new to me. Like, I love the sea. I live in Ireland. I swim all year round. It's so calm. It's gorgeous. It does it for me completely. So I love, any kind of like stories that come up. I'll kind of really I enjoy going into them. And I read about Stephen and Alessia in some Irish newspapers, and I didn't know about freediving at all. And the way you'd find something. I started to watch videos, and I just went into this rabbit hole. You look up 6 hours later and it's dark.
I know everything about freediving. Yeah.
And I was just so overcome by how stunning it was. And I love Blue Planet and all that, but it just looked completely different. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before, really. And I just thought, this is one of the most visually stunning things I've ever come across. So that was kind of how I just started to become obsessed with it.
Yes, understood. And how did the two of you first get connected?
So we were connected by our producers, and I'd seen some of Nainita's work before and loved it, and just really was so delighted when it was an option that we could get to work with Nainita, Nainita actually has just taught me an awful lot about how to even speak about music.
Sure.
I'm not I'm always a little bit intimidated by music people because I never know what to say, and now I'm here.
You're in a safe space.
Yeah. But we found a lovely way to communicate.
Over the year, we developed our own language, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Shorthand.
Yeah, gobbledygook, cool. But we understood it.
Oh, good. Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So what were those first kind of conversations like? I mean, were you familiar with the freediving community? Did you need to learn more about it? Or was it really Laura's vision was very clear, you understood the story, and it was easy to kind of find your musical way?
Well, I initially got sent the pitch deck.
Okay.
The wealth of material about the subject, and I've worked on a couple of other projects that explore what it means to be human, to be a human being when you're put under extreme situations and conditions, and where the human beings push themselves to the limit of what's capable physically and mentally as well. And so that I was really attracted to the story and the subject and of Alessia and following her journey and to dig deep and sort of get underneath into the underbelly of who are these characters. And then we had initial conversations, and I was really excited about not just the story and the characters, but also visually and the the musical possibilities. It was this film covers such a wide spectrum of emotions. You know, it's thrilling, exciting. There's a love story and a wonderful romance that blossoms. There's a lot of tension in the film, and so we came up with initial concepts. You've got two key characters, Stephen and Alessia, and so, you know, music having in terms of process. We shared a lot of music that we liked. In fact, you did a lot of listening. And what's great about Laura is that I think she undersells herself because she's so articulate and detailed in a very forensic way about what she likes when she listens to certain pieces of music. And that, for a composer, that's really, really useful because, you love that sort of granular electronic sound, or you love the strings, or you like the voice in this piece. So Laura would send me reams of music, having had lots of listening sessions, and then we'd sort of forensically have long WhatsApp and phone conversations going through, you know, ideas that we would explore, and then I'd use that as a launching off point to start composing. Yes. And then I'd send rough ideas, and I remember one of the first pieces of music that I wrote was Stephen's theme in the film. Yeah. And we sort of that was a great kicking off point for us. Yeah. And we explored the sonic palette. I mean, we've got two characters, so we wanted to make them quite distinct. So Stephen, his character, you know, is full of drive and wonder, and he's soul searching. What's his quest in life? He's finding himself. So we use the cello and the strings for him. And with Alessia, she's got this youthful exuberance. And she's so driven, and and she's very young. So we thought, well, let's explore a contemporary electronic edge to her, but also the human voice. And and so we brought in a small chamber ensemble, piano, strings, and a female voice. And because the film is based around breath and breathing, right. The vocals, the vocal approach we took was very breathy. So I brought in another vocalist, and I did some vocals myself on the film, and I would frequently run out of breath, just holding my breath and just using a lot of air in my lungs to try and get across the breathiness, which was quite fun.
It was a lovely opportunity to kind of play around with like voice in the soundtrack, and also like kind of create, because we wanted a sound for the two characters, but then we also wanted like them to be able to feel like they're part of the same thing as well, while they're being different, and also have you've got the whole underwater world, and there are times where we're submerged 100 meters deep in the ocean. And it's like, we worked a lot with sound design as well, but as well with the composition, like what do we want it to, what does that feel like, what does that sound like? That was a really challenging, but really interesting challenge, yeah.
Could you talk a little bit more about that, especially in terms of this underwater world, even in terms of camera work, but you're talking about sound design, like how did you approach that? Especially with, you've got these two seemingly like parallel story. You've got the, on the ground work and story, but this underwater, I mean, even just the stills that have been out from the documentary, it's like incredible. So how did you, was that a new process for you, new technology? Like, how did that work for you?
Well, in terms of sound design, we were trying to create a sound that we could only imagine. Sure. Because your ears are pretty blocked when you're underwater, like you're trying to equalize, pushing air out. So we tried to, when you go like that?
Yes.
you can still hear, there's a quality that you can still hear. You can hear inside your body, you can hear inside your head. You're dealing, and it also depends on how deep you are, how much pressure is on you. Sure. So we try to develop like a palette of sounds for different depths and for different locations as well. Some locations were like a sinkhole, so they'd be like pitch black. And then others, you're out in the Mediterranean and it's blue and it sounds completely different, it feels completely different. So we used like there was a whole kind of kit of Foley and different pieces with Molyneux, and they did an incredible job there on creating different emotions with sound for different kind of for different scenes in the film. Yeah,
that's fascinating, and it's really striking to me too, like listening to you, because you're obviously, as a director on a documentary, you're really focused on the story that you're telling, but it also sounds like you were so collaborative with everyone on your team. I mean, even the conversations that you guys are having back and forth, you're very involved in this process. Was it easy for you guys to have that communication? You were telling me earlier that you guys are apart for a lot of this. You're doing a lot of this remotely. How did you guys kind of manage that or balance that?
Well, we worked, well, I mean, obviously through the pandemic, we got very used to working remotely, didn't we? I mean, you were in Ireland.
Yeah.
The editor was in North London. It was about an hour and a half's journey from me. I'm in South London. So we got used to working remotely. I think we met once when you came to London. We had an initial kick-off meeting. And then we met again at the Dub just after the New Year, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah.
So it's just been, it's a very much like a phone call relationship that we have. We're like, hiya, just chatting away. And this is only the third time we've met. Is it the third time?
I think so, yeah. And documents, we'd share lots of notes, writing lots of notes, I love to write, so I would, absorbing, I've got this filtering process going on, so when Laura is talking and describing the story and the emotional connections that we're trying to convey with the characters, I'm sort of filtering that and trying to translate that into music as well,
So you guys obviously have worked on this project for quite a long time. I'm interested, how has this particular project impacted you personally?
You can go first.
That's a good question. I think it's made, I know that I'm never going to attempt free diving. And the last film I did was about mountaineering.
That's right.
And I'm never going to climb Mount Everest, so I've learned a lot about myself in that respect. But I think it's made me, actually, I love working on, character studies and human stories like this, because it makes me appreciate, it makes me realize that you have to live life to the full. And the characters, Laura, and Stephen, do that. Very much so. They're both incredible human beings. So it's made me appreciate life. And, it's just really...
That's beautiful. Laura?
What she said, I think. No, I absolutely second what you're saying there. The project, for like the people in the film, the participants who we're telling the story about, were a pleasure to, as filmmakers, you spend so much time with footage, with the story, with listening to them talk, and it was such a pleasure to spend the time with the people who were in the film. But also, I personally have learned an incredible amount from the people in our team, Nainita, our editor, Julian Hart, our producers, John Batzik and Sarah Thompson and Jamie and Anne, and so I shouldn't be name checking anybody, but all of our crew, it's been such a pleasure for me to work with you guys who they have a lot more experience than I have. So it was a dream come true. If I could have put a wish list of a team together, all of you guys would have been on it. And so it's been a major pleasure for me to work with the whole team. And I definitely picked up a few bits, I think, I hope.
It's amazing. Well, I'll ask you guys the same question. What does it mean to you to be here at Sundance?
Oh, well, this isn't my first time. This is my second time.
Yeah.
And I came...
You're a pro now.
No, I came here in January 2020, just before the pandemic, with The Reason I Jumped. And so it's just absolute delight to be here again. I mean, I arrived last night from London, and this morning I walked on Main Street and I bumped into a couple of producers and filmmakers that I thought that we'd worked together and we'd never met. So over the last 3 years,
Sure.
So it's just a wonderful coming together of the filmmaking community, and underpinning it is just joy and love of film and storytelling. So that's just great to be here.
Yeah, there is some magic here in Park City for sure. Is this your first Sundance?
Very much so, yes.
This is huge then. Congratulations.
It's huge. It is huge.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What was the moment like when you found out that it was coming here?
It was really embarrassing, actually, because I didn't really properly catch what he said on the phone. And it was Basil, the programmer, and I had to say, sorry, can you just, because I wasn't sure if there was a knot in there.
Oh, no.
You did not get into Sundance, or you did get in. I didn't want to celebrate, and then for him to say, why are you celebrating? Yeah. So, anyway, so it was just a little bit embarrassing at the start.
Sure.
But it's like, as well for our team, because we have worked remotely a lot. It's amazing that they're all here. Yeah. We're all here as a group in the same room, talking to each other. It's really weird. It's brilliant. But being here at Sundance, you know, it's a festival that I've only ever dreamed about being coming here. Not to mention having a film here. So it's an incredible honor. Yeah.
Amazing. And you guys have your sold-out premiere, and it's tomorrow? Could you tell everyone a little bit about the premiere, maybe where it's at, and then also, again, where can people follow you, follow this documentary?
The film is premiering tomorrow at 3, and then we've got a few other screenings as well after that. And we've teamed up with Netflix, and we're super happy to be with them. They're just incredible. They've been really good to the film and to us. And so, it'll be on Netflix at some point.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here.